welcome. This is Kevin, also known as AWOL, and today we're working with this pattern. It is pattern 14755 over on friendshipbracelets.net. And of course, I expanded upon it. It was a 6-string bracelet. I made it 12. And in the process, I kind of thought I was making it so different from some of the other ones that we've been doing. And in some ways, it turned out to be a lot like those. And so the way that it seems very similar to some of these other previous ones is there's a lot of these little diamonds that are like 4 knots in a diamond shape, right? Like 2 to the right and then another 2 to the right. And how I thought this was different was the dark colors all do this zigzag. They just keep going back and forth, zigzagging their way all the way down. And I thought somehow that would be what would be the most predominant thing in it, that's what you would see. But in turn, they come in close enough to each other that it looks like they're just a solid thing with encapsulating these little boxes. That said, if you were to compare this side by side to the other ones, the thing that you would notice is before the boxes were in straight rows, like the relief space, the darker color would almost be a straight line with those boxes in between. And this time it's all offset a little bit. And it makes it interesting. It makes it hard to look at it and say, oh, I know what he did. It's just a series of zigzags. That's all it is. Because you can't really see the zigzags. You just see these little boxes encased by the thing. And it took me a minute to really kind of figure out how I was going to kind of systematically work my way down through this. And in fact, I think it's about here is when it really kind of dawned on me that I could kind of bring it down in a series of segmenting and really kind of get a handle on this thing. And yeah, if you kind of watch it, you'll kind of get the gist. Also, I pulled out this bad boy. I have one of those little clickers that counts. And for me, that worked out pretty cool because I figured out that there was 17 of the little dots coming down the side. And if I just do the clicker every time I did the one little dot over on the far right-hand side, I would know that I had made it to the end. And that saved me from having to do a whole lot of counting and counting again and again. Because if you're new here, I don't know if it's the ADHD or what, but I have this tendency, I can count something and then go back to working on it and almost immediately forget what that number was because I might be too busy trying to remember the 17 to remember what the number I last counted was. And then if like I add one to it, I just get myself all confused and it all just falls apart and it doesn't work. So I've got a clicker. I've had it around the office for quite some number of years now. And I don't know why I don't really use it more. I don't really think about it at the time. But today I saw it out of the corner of my eye and I was like, my gosh, that is the thing that is just going to make this so much easier on me. And I can't wait to let everybody know that yes, there is a thing that can possibly help you if you suffer from the same thing that I have. I don't know if it's an ADHD thing. It feels like maybe it could be just a me thing, which doesn't make me feel really good about that at all. Because if I'm the only person who suffers from this, like it makes me wonder, like, what kind of damage is done to my brain? I don't know. I don't understand. Okay, back to this thing. The way that I'm doing this, all of the light colored knots are basically going to the right. And my thought process on that was, if I keep making them go to the right, I'm cycling through all of them and I won't have to worry about one of them getting overused or something like that. Also, it will make for a more interesting back of the bracelet, you know, what the pattern turns out on the back. Because some people, and it drives me insane, like what the back of the bracelets look like better than the front. To me, what you see being made there, that's the front. That's the side that should be up when people wear it. But frequently, people will be like, oh, and they take a look at the back and there is something different about it, and that's the side they want showing. In this case, because there's a consistency, and I didn't change the directions periodically just to suit whatever, because it's really consistent, the back of it looks actually really, really kind of cool. I kind of actually would be pretty forgiving if a person picked this up and was like, yeah, I want to wear it the other way around, because it does look so neat. So at the end of the video here, when I do the reveal, I actually flip it over so you can have a look at it. Because it looks really, really cool. And that's only really because of the consistency of how I did it. Now, you could change that consistency. You could make it so that way the boxes on the right hand side all move to the left, and the boxes on the left hand side all move to the right, and it would change what was going on underneath and would equally look very, very cool. But the thing would be, you would really need to keep that consistent all the way through the bracelet in order for the effect to really hit home. And again, that's something you can totally do. I definitely recommend experimenting. Try things with this, because little nuanced things can be the difference between a bracelet that you'll be holding on to versus one that you sell. And yeah, or the difference between somebody really appreciating the gift and or them thinking, oh, nice. So yeah, I kind of really like going for the razzle dazzle when possible. And it's so easy. It's just a nuanced way of tying the knots that can make a difference. And yeah, it also kind of helps keep everything really nice and straight. There's something about you can see though, it keeps trying to pull a little bit to the right. Do you see that? Like there's a little bit of curvature going on there. And I keep correcting it. Just don't let that keep being a thing as you're working. Keep nudging it back to the left, and it'll turn out really nice and straight, because that's what you want, right? Yeah. Oh, wait, before we get too far, let me thank my Patreon supporters and my YouTube members who make all these tutorials possible. I get excited, obviously, about all of this, and they have seen that, this is a thing and that they want to help me. And I appreciate it so much. It has been a big part of my motivation to keep going, because this channel took forever to get the 1,000 subscribers and to get the watch hours and all that kind of stuff. It took us forever to get there. A lot of the time I thought I would give up, but it's the members and stuff that really have kept me going. And yeah, thank you guys so very, very much. I can't thank you enough. I'm not sure how much more there is. Oh, so this pattern doesn't have a centered where it flips and changes or anything. It just continues on downwards. And I think I warned in the pattern portion of this that the dark color would be used a lot more, and that is absolutely true. I was okay with making tassels, but again, I cut my strings really nice and long, and that's probably the saving grace right there. If you are going to try to tackle this one, at least the dark colors should be 1/3 of a skein. So a skein is like 8 meters. So 1/3 of that is, I don't know, it's long. And then it gets folded over the top. There is a loop on mine. If you were the kind of person that puts the tassels on both ends, you might need it to be even a little bit longer still, because leaving that much string off the top as opposed to a loop would make a difference. So just to kind of a heads up, I don't want people getting part way through and then running out of string and stuff. It's not nice on a bracelet. So But yeah, oh, so the whole project took me like an hour and 6 minutes. And, but I went ahead and I sped it up a lot because I kind of figured I probably wouldn't have a lot to talk about. But then here I am rambling on as I tend to do. And yeah, but I still think it's turned out to be like the right amount of time because I'm kind of running out of thoughts right now. Oh, because it's so repetitive and since it is in a mode that I'm doing, I did not spend a lot of time looking at the pattern. Like that early spot where like I showed you where like I began to understand what I was going to do. At that point, after that, I didn't look at the pattern. The only thing I was looking at was my clicker to see if I was at the end yet. And then at the very, very end, I made sure that I stopped the bracelet the way that the pattern showed. So that way it would be kind of even with what was on the top and on the bottom kind of thing. So that was it. Other than that, it was smooth sailing. I was live streaming as well as having the Discord open, and I honestly, it's kind of hard because I'm in Singapore and a lot of people probably are sleeping because like most of I think the subscribers and stuff are in the US. So I mean, if you were in Europe, I guess you would be able to tune in. But yeah, I tried to be there for people. I broadcasted to an empty group. That doesn't mean they can't still go in and watch the video and see me, but I do try, like I said, to be there for people, to do the Discord thing. And it goes oftentimes very quiet, but that's okay. You know, if somebody really needs me, they know how to find me, I guess. That's what I'm trying to do at least. So, yeah, I think I'll be able to spot, oh, I know I will be able to spot how this ends because when we get down to almost the end, the dark one on the right hand side just comes down a little bit and then, yeah. Yeah, like that. That's it. It didn't do the third one down. So we are near the end. See, I know I'd recognize it. I want to thank you guys for watching this long into the video. I really do appreciate that as well. And if you just skipped ahead so that way you could see how the ending is, okay, fair enough. But thank you for watching, and if possible, hit like. I would really appreciate that. It helps me out a lot. And yeah, oh, and check out both sides. It's really, both sides look really, really super cool. So, all right, guys. Thanks for everything, and as always, don't get your strings in a bunch.